Alright, guys, welcome back to the pod. The 4 agreements, pages 25 through 28. The next time I'll pick up on page 29. It's talking about the first agreement, which is to be impeccable with your word. It goes into talking about the word being pure magic or black magic, and the mind being like fertile ground, where seeds are being planted. That's a quote from page 28. The human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continually being planted. The seeds are opinions, ideas, and concepts. You plant a seed, a thought, and it grows. So that is definitely something I can relate to. Like, I record daily episodes on here. I call them daily, but they're not exactly daily. They're like many days, some of the time, a lot of the time, but not every single day, all of the time, if that makes sense. So, yeah, a lot of times I pre-plan, like, in advance, certain stuff that I'm gonna do. And I'll talk about it in the daily recordings, and it does become pretty clear to me that some days are better than others. Some days I stick to the game plan, other days I go above and beyond, other days I miss the mark, other days I try and fall on my face, other days I get a little movement on what I'm trying to do. And it kind of just depends. I'm honestly more used to a more regimented, very structured lifestyle where, I just kind of have a routine and go with it. But when it comes to words, something often happens in my mind, that's, it takes a bit to make a decision to switch out from the game plan. Like, what I've noticed is that it's not an instantaneous thing. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go, get some gig work done, and then, like, I'm just not gonna do it, and then I just turn on Netflix and just don't do it. Like, it's not usually that quick. Like, usually I'll try and slow myself down if I'm gonna cancel doing something that I had already tried to plan on doing. Even if it's just specifically something I need to do for myself, for my own personal well-being, or for my, career. Sometimes, I can find myself talking myself out of doing things that I need to do, and I feel like if that process of, talking myself out of it didn't come up, I don't think I would just stop the plans. Like, there have been days where like yesterday, just literally kind of had to force myself to get up and out, and like, I literally was like forcing myself. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'd had some lazy days this week, and I was just thinking, like, what's it gonna matter if I have one more lazy day? But I've got some deadlines coming up, and it's pushing closer and closer. So now we're in procrastination phase, and that's kind of helping, but up until this phase where it's like close to the wire, I've been kind of, I don't want to call it slacking off because that's not really what it is, but you know, I've been getting in my own way, that's for sure. But you know, I think it is the power of the word, you know. Because you know, words are powerful. They are powerful, and sometimes, you know, we have those words, other times we don't. So sometimes it's just hard to come across those words that we need to hear. And you know, sometimes it's, you know, it really helps. Like, it seems kind of cliche, right? Like, we hear about, like, oh, the power of the word and manifesting and all this kind of stuff, and like, it usually seems pretty, like, okay, we've heard this before, you know? But when I think of it, it's like, even if it's an internal dialogue that's going on, you know, that can really affect a day, you know? This might sound dumb, but one thing that helps me, honestly, is caffeine. Now, it helps and hinders me, but, like, it hinders my sleep. Depending on where the caffeine's coming from, I might have a bit of a caffeine crash. And so it doesn't always help me. It's not always the most effective, but usually it's pretty effective. So yeah, I wasn't sure, you know, I wasn't, always too, you know, aware of maybe like what I was gonna say, or you know, how I'm gonna say it. Like, I think sometimes it gets, you know, it's a pretty automatic process, and it can be hard to even like catch ourselves. Like, you know, I'll have days where I'm just like, my mind is just in a negative headspace and nothing's even happened to me. Like, nobody's wronging me that day, you know, like, nothing's really like wrong. Like, I didn't get, you know, my pants ripped or get in a car accident or lose my wallet. Like, nothing actually happened, but I can still just not feel good. And you know, that is something that I am kind of trying to learn more about, is, you know, this process of kind of slowing things down, asking myself questions about things, and, you know, figuring it out like that. I'm not sure what else to really say about this topic. It's kind of late and I'm tired. But with that, thanks for listening.